My name is Yusuf. Um, I work at North Middlesex University Hospital. I've been there for 10 years and I'm a general porter. When people recognize what I do and when people recognize my colleagues' effort into patient care, which is sometimes overlooked because it's, people tend to focus on doctors and nurses and who's the surgeon there, but it really makes me feel good when I get feedbacks from that, whether it's from patients that I meet within the trust or or sometimes managers who will come down and say, thank you for doing that, well done. So these are the days that make me feel good. When too much emphasis, if I could use the correct word, is put on everyone else but you.
On everyone else?
But you, yeah, on everyone else but you, meaning the whole wider group of the support staff that are there who are working within the trust. Right. It doesn't usually happen, but sometimes you feel forgotten about.
Overlooked.
Overlooked. If that makes sense. The focus is on what we need to get right in our trust, to get patient care right, to get patient experience right. Sometimes you feel that your group or your experiences might have an input and that you might have answers for what's been looked for, but no one ever reaches out. So it's the unreaching that makes me feel a bit invisible. We're the kind of group who feel sometimes, well, no one really reaches out to us. We don't really matter. This is not for us. But it is for us because, we do daily get in contact with patients. And sometimes you do have that small little conversations which will be outside of a clinical area, which could be moving a patient from A to B. And someone telling you about what they did not like in the ward. How they felt when this procedure is happening. It's kind of funny, the kind of conversations that you have with patients. I think people sometimes feel comfortable with us, comfortable talking to porters, domestics, our support staff, because we're not really looking for any clinical answers from them. Did this procedure get done? We're just there and we start off with a, open conversation. Hello, how are you? How long have you stayed on the ward? So it opens up conversation with us and the patients, and people tend to then be more open to our trusts. Do the back to the floor initiative. I know a lot of people do that, but sometimes people let's do it for an hour. So you might have a manager might try your role for an hour, but I really appreciate if more senior members of the staff or people might have a lot of connections with healthcare, whether they be the CEO or an MP, for them to come, and come into a role of healthcare and give them a role to do, so they'll have interactions with the patients who are actually using the services and find out what it's like for not only for patients but for staff as well, and not just for a couple of hours. I would like people to do that for a week, say for instance, to become an assistant healthcare assistant and see how how it is for patients. I think valuing the diversity of the staff, where they're coming from, and their experiences in life, is really, really helpful in the kind of environment that I work in. There was a patient who seemed lost at the trust, who wanted to get to somewhere in the maternity building, could not speak a word of English, but I got, from what she told me, she could speak a certain language, and she told me it was Greek. So of course, in my mind, okay, who's a staff member that I know that could speak Greek? And I know that there are several around the hospital. So I found out who could speak Greek within the trust. I think it was another building. Phoned the person up. I have their number, but I got all these people's number, and gave the phone over to the lost visitor. So started to explain where she was looking for, what ward she was looking for, and then once the person got on the phone with me, said, right, she needs to get to the transitional care, maternity transitional care. So of course, so then I showed the visitor where she was going to. You have to embrace the diversity of stuff. You have to really appreciate, and be open that people are going to be different.
Yeah.
It just gives you multiple ways of doing things differently. But if we was to ask the same questions to the same group of people, you'll get the same answers. But if you used to, widen the net a bit,
Yeah.
Get more people's contribution into it,
Yeah.
and then people have to be comfortable
Yeah.
with being who they are.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
my name is Yusuf. Not only can I speak English, my parents are from Somalia. They could speak Somali. I'll be fasting in the month of Ramadan.
Yes.
What does that feel like for me? Then you might get some more insight what it might feel like for your patients.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
there'll be other
Yeah.
staff and other
Yeah.
patients who are also fasting at the same time.
Of course. So you have to embrace the diversity. I mean, I think it makes life worth living, I think, personally. Yeah.